Hey there, hi, Eric Louviere here. This is going to be a different video because I'm going to talk about myself a lot here. I'm going to talk about the history of Eric Louviere and kind of where I came from and how I started making a lot of money online. And I think that you could pull a lot of really good gold nuggets out of this story and use it to help yourself make a lot of money online and live the internet lifestyle. So let's talk about where I came from. So I was born back in, no I'm kidding, we're not going to go that far back. We'll start when I started making money. So I started making money, pretty good money in around 2005 or so, 2004, 2005. I started making some good money online. And around 2006 is when I quit my day job and started doing this full time. So here's what happened. I wasn't making any money at all online. I was pretty into learning how to make money online, but I wasn't doing anything. You know, I'd buy ebooks and, you know, follow all the gurus and get on their teleseminar calls. This is before webinars. We would do teleseminar calls and I'd get on there and I'd listen to Mike Filsame and all these different people talk about making money online, and I just loved it. But I wasn't taking any action, so therefore I wasn't making any money. I remember thinking back then that what I needed to do in order to make money was learn more and kind of pay the price. I had a day job, so I would learn this on the side, nights, weekends, sometimes while I'm at work I'd sneak in some time to learn on the forums or something. And I didn't take any action really. I wasn't making any money because I wasn't taking action. I was just learning. And I just thought I had to pay the price. I had to do this for years or something and get my degree in internet marketing online before I was worthy of making any cash. So I didn't take any action. One of the big breakthroughs for me was whenever I got involved with this group project that was happening on the forums. So there was several different people. Dr. Manny was one of them, I remember, Robert Putty, some other guys. They were internet marketers, and everyone was getting together to do this group project. And so I learned a lot from that project, and one of the biggest things that I learned was that I could do this too. I realized that none of the stuff that they were doing was rocket science. I even actually felt like I could lead most of the stuff that was going on. We got to a point with the group project where it needed traffic. And no one really went out there to get a bunch of traffic, even though some of the guys were really good at traffic. Nothing happened with the traffic side of it. And I remember Dr. Manny saying that the problem here is promotion. For the project to work right, then people are going to have to go out there and get traffic. And then so I decided that everything I had learned from the group project, I could easily do myself. The one thing that was missing was the traffic. So I decided to put my whole heart, blood, sweat, and tears into learning Google Adwords. I bought everything I could find on Google Adwords and just immersed myself in learning how to drive traffic. And so I felt like I could do the sales copy. I could do some of the basic technical stuff using Microsoft Front Page back in the day. And so I went out there and I started focusing on driving traffic. And I remember we didn't have a whole lot of money, a day job and all that. And I remember telling my fiance at the time, wife now, that I had just spent a couple $1,000s, which is a bonus that we got from my job, on paid traffic, and then I lost it all. It was gone. I didn't make enough money to cover it, so I really just flushed all that money down the toilet. And then for about a month, I didn't do anything with paid traffic, and I was pretty disappointed and depressed. That was my first knock to the ground moment in internet marketing where I was pretty devastated. Now, something happened though. The turn of the year came, and I think it was 2006, January of 2006, Mike Filsame launched Butterfly Marketing. Now this is a very important breakthrough moment for me because I had talked to Mike Filsame before that. I followed Mike Filsame. In fact, he's the one that kind of turned me on to the whole internet marketing game, period. So I was following him, and so I saw where he quit his day job, and then I saw where he was launching this Butterfly Marketing, and he did $1 million with that launch. And I remember John Reese had done $1 million in a day with Traffic Secrets. So I was like, man, I know that this guy did $1 million in a week. If he could do $1 million in a week, then I could probably do enough to quit my day job. So that reinvigorated me, turned me on again, and I decided to get after it and do it all again and really focus on traffic and focus on tweaking stuff and really starting to learn more about copywriting conversions. At that time, I started making a little bit of money. I was promoting ClickBank offers, and I was just driving traffic to those ClickBank offers. Then another breakthrough moment happened. I learned some stuff from Dr. Mike Wu Ming about setting up your own squeeze pages, driving traffic to those squeeze pages, and then passing those people on to ClickBank offers and what he called CPA offers. That was the first time I had heard of CPA offers, and I went and signed up for Azoogle Ads and Hydra Network and all these different CPA companies back then, and started doing that. So I started creating my own squeeze pages, building my own niche list, and I was in all kinds of niches out there. I mean, everything but internet marketing. And I started building up these niche lists, and I started making really good money with the autoresponder emails starting to kick in. Now I was seriously seeing an opportunity to quit my day job. And I decided that I was going to shoot for quitting my day job by September of 2006. Now I needed to make about $100,000 a year to quit that day job, so it was a pretty aggressive goal. Well, I started making good money. I was probably making a few $1,000s a month or so in the spring of 2006. And then I was talking to a guy online, Terry Krim and Paul Short, and we were on a Yahoo call, like we're chatting on Yahoo and talking on Yahoo, and they wanted to see some of the niche stuff that I was doing, so I shared with them some of my secret niche websites, and I remember them talking about what a good copywriter I was and how I could make all this money as a copywriter, and that a lot of internet marketers would buy copywriting from me. Well, this was my first breakthrough to actually provide a service to the marketplace. So what I decided to do was provide copywriting for dirt cheap. I mean, like $250 for a sales letter. Ridiculous. So I would write these sales letters for $250. So what I decided to do, because I wanted to get in the internet marketing market, I wanted to get involved and meet some of these gurus I really admired. So I decided to start writing copy. And then I really immersed myself into copywriting when people started giving me $250 to write a sales letter for them. I mean, I studied every book and every course I could get my hand on. And then I also, wrote a lot of sales copy because people were buying sales letters from me left and right for $250. One of the guys that bought like 10 of them from me, he's like, "Are you really serious? $250 for a sales letter? Can I buy 10? Was Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike Wu Ming. He bought 10 of them from me. And ironically, I wrote one sales letter for Dr. Mike where he had interviewed Mike Falsame. Anyway, it was just really weird thing for me. And so then Dr. Mike, this was my opportunity to build a relationship with him. I saw that as a breakthrough moment. Here's another breakthrough moment for you, by the way, is I realized how valuable copywriting was to some of these gurus. So I decided to use it, copywriting, as a way to build relationships with those bigger marketers. So I reached out to people and said, "Hey, I'll write for you for free, in exchange for a testimonial or, just to kind of pick your brain here and there." And I reached out to a lot of the bigger marketers and just offered it to them. And can you believe it? They said yes. So a lot of them, of course, would take free copywriting, right? So the name started to get built up a little bit. I started getting some recognition. That was fun. And I just booked solid. I mean, 20, 30 people were buying sales copy from me on a monthly basis. And then that was around May of 2006. In June of 2006, I quit the day job. And I decided to do this full time, which was great because I was starting to suck at my day job because I was more interested in my internet marketing world. And so I quit the job in June of 2006, and then I felt free. I mean, I really felt free. Like out of jail or something that was my job that I started to really grow to hate. And I just felt like a caged bird or an animal that couldn't fly because I was just in this cubicle and there was these office politics and I couldn't do anything to move the company even an inch. It was just bureaucracy type of business, and I was really getting depressed about the whole situation. And when I was able to quit that job and do internet marketing full time, and then my wife didn't have to work. She was my fiance at the time, and we were going to go to Mexico for a few weeks, and get married and honeymoon and all that, and we didn't have to worry about any job. And it was such a big moment that I'll never forget. I mean, that time when I quit the job was the most beautiful time in my life, career-wise. Even bigger than doing $1 million launches was, and even bigger than $1.5 million house and all that wealth and all that income and all that crap. The idea that I was able to quit my job and do this full time, that was everything. That changed everything for me, and it ignited something within me that was great. But it was freedom, and I decided to register on July the 4th because it was Independence Day here in the United States. I decided to register jobcrusher.com back then. I don't own Job Crusher anymore. I've sold it. But back then, I registered a domain name called jobcrusher.com. Quit your day job. Crush your day job, right? And if you look in the Wayback Machine, you can see that it was just a sales letter where I sold an ebook. And I started selling a bunch of those ebooks, and in the meantime I had a lot of copywriting going on. And then I reached out to Dr. Mike and I asked him if he wanted to partner with me on a membership site, an idea that I had, and he agreed to do that. And that membership site did like 30 grand per month for the first few months, and it was really great. Now I'm at like 30, 50 grand a month in gross income. I'm making more money than I ever have in my life. I have more freedom than I've ever had. I took my fiance on a whole western United States trip, went to the Grand Canyon and Las Vegas and California and Malibu and I mean all over the place, Sedona, Arizona and New Mexico and Santa Fe and Colorado. It was awesome. And we didn't have to be anywhere. It was just a lot of freedom, and it was just the greatest thing. And then with the membership site I did with Dr. Mike, I mean that really set me on fire because I started to get to know other people like John Barker and Willie Crawford and John Taylor and all these guys, you know, that were internet marketers that I really looked up to. And I started interacting with people and reached out to like John Reese, and he gave me some advice. And so now that I was at this hefty income, I started to want to make $1 million. I saw it as a realistic goal to do $1 million per year online. So I started asking people like Mike Fulsame and John Reese and others, what do I need to do to go from making a pretty good 6-figure income to making a 7-figure income? And they really gave me some good advice of what I needed to do. However, John Reese gave me some really awesome advice, figures, but he said, well, look at all the people who are already doing $1 million and do what they're doing. I mean, the simple advice, right? I mean, this is kind of common sense, but no, it's not. It's much deeper than that. You see, then I started looking at other people, and I started seeing that, okay, now Russell Brunson's doing $1 million. What is he doing? Oh, he's got this newsletter. He's got this call center. He's got all this stuff going on. I'm not doing any of that stuff. He's doing seminars and workshops. This Mike Fulsame is doing all these speaking. He's doing seminars and workshops. And then I looked at all the stuff, home study courses, physical products, physical home study courses they were sending out, doing teleseminars at the time was really big. So I decided that I was going to do all of that. All of it. Forced continuity back in the day. I did it all. I mean, I started my own call center, and it took me 14 months to go from making zero to making $1 million per year. Imagine that. I mean, I didn't come from money. I came from the other side of the tracks. And so for me to reach that level was really a big deal. And so ever since then, I've felt like really a sincere kind of guilt that I was making so much money. So I wanted to try to help other people, and I realized, excuse me, that when I gave back and helped other people, that it was okay for me to be rich. It was okay for me to make a lot of money. So I really tried hard to help other people make money, and I still do to this day. And I think that's the best gig there is. When it comes to money, people get pretty emotional about money, and you know, I read a lot of stories from people because people will email me and they'll tell me, you know, kind of their situations, and a lot of people have, you know, some really tough times, you know, and when you look at the idea of money, you really get a different look at the world when you're in the business of helping people to make money. And by doing that, I've read some really sad stories, and it makes me really appreciative of what I've been able to accomplish, but also, even more important than that, appreciative of being able to help people make that money. But I also learned some things about haters and trolls and people that would knock me down or knock others down and really rip on us and, you know, call us bad names and create hate blogs and all kinds of things like that. And it made me realize that there's a percentage of people that they're just not ready, or there's something wrong going on there, and that's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about that. And I love helping people make money, so why should I let the people that are haters and trolls and attackers and all that ruin that? So that was a big learning environment for me as well. Now, since then, I've gone on to do some pretty big things, but I've also had some big crashes too. Don't get me wrong, it's not all a bed of roses. I've had some pretty big, serious situations happen that completely destroyed me income-wise when the economy crashed, and you know, some tax situations and all that were really big deals and really crushed me. I mean, crushed my spirits, crushed me from head to toe, because here I was doing $1 million a year, living in a $1.5 million house, had it made, and then all of a sudden crash, and all this stuff started happening. Not just for me, a lot of other marketers went through this as well. It really crushed me, but it made me stronger, and it made me a more abundant thinking person, even though it took me a while to rebound from that. It took me a couple of years, actually. Now that was, there were some casualties from that too, right? A couple friends, they're no longer friends anymore and all that. But the whole thing is that through that process, I've grown as an individual. And Jim Rohn says, if you want more, you've got to become more. And I got to tell you, I've become a whole lot more than I was back in 2005 and 2006. And I have a whole lot of people to thank. So I want to tell you that along the way, I started a call center and opened up this really nice office overlooking the hill country out here in Austin, Texas. And I was doing a seminar, and a guy walked up to me at the end of the seminar. His name was Manish Punjabi, and he came up to me and he said, "Hey man, you mentioned during the seminar that you were looking for some people to work with you with the conversions and sales and all that in your call center and your coaching programs." And he's like, "I'd like to be involved. I live here in Austin." So I brought Manish on, and then, I mean, birds of a feather, he brought on some other really like-minded people like Milo, Matthew, and other people, and Manish's his brother Hayden, and it was really a great environment. And one of the guys that also came on board to work with us was a guy by the name of Henry Fuentes. Henry was a teenager, pretty much, about to turn 20, and he was a programmer. He started working for me, doing a lot of our technical stuff, and he's just a brilliant young guy, right? And he had great ideas, he had great vision for internet marketing, but not just that, he was also really talented with programming. He was a rare individual, and looking back now, man, if I could just have Henry one more year. So Henry went on to do amazing things online, and now he's he's part of the owners of Six Pack Shortcuts, and they do about $1 million a month, last I heard, building a big 45,000 square foot office building. I mean, they're really kicking ass and doing some really big things, and it's amazing that Henry used to work for me, and now look what he's doing. So, and look at how many people he's impacting. And Manish went on to do millions of dollars, and there's just George also. I want to forget George. George Rivera was working there, and he was gone on to do millions of dollars. I mean, it is just really a dream team of people that were working there with me. And as I look back over my entire career, those were some of the best moments of watching those guys go on and accomplishing such great success. They're all smart guys, super smart. A lot of them smarter than me. But they went on and did some really big things, and I'm really appreciative of having the opportunity to work with them. But what that did is it also catapulted my business into a coaching business that allowed me to coach big-time people and help them get to the $1 million level or the six-figure level as well. So that pretty much brings us to where we are now, and that's kind of my history. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I watched the history of Mike Filsaime a few years back, and that really inspired me. And I thought, I think I'm at the point now where maybe I should do a video like that too, and kind of just talk from the heart and tell you just kind of what I've gone through to make money online and some of the big breakthroughs for me. So I'll leave you with this. Some of the big breakthroughs for me that I learned along the way was, at some point you need to stop learning and just start doing, start selling. Also, you have to look at the people that are already making a lot of money and do what it is that they're doing. If you see some gurus in your market that are making some good money and successful, then do what they're doing. What are they doing to make the money? What are they focused on right now? Where are they getting their traffic? Who are they hanging around? What are they doing? So do that as well. And you got to escape comfort zones. I was not comfortable way back when I talked to John Reese, and he said, I didn't talk to him. We exchanged private messages, and he said, what you want to do, Eric, is go out there and do what everyone else is doing that is currently making $1 million. And I did. And I looked at the real estate investing market too, because I had some gurus that were paying me big money for copywriting. And so I went and did what they did, but I was uncomfortable with those things. I didn't like doing live teleseminar calls because I was nervous talking in front of a bunch of people. I didn't like recording myself and about money type stuff, because back then money to me was a touchy subject, and so I didn't think I was a big name or anybody worthy of talking about making money online. So all that stuff, all that starting a call center, all that stuff was very uncomfortable. Coaching people, very uncomfortable. And then you graduated to webinars and seminars and doing public speaking and doing workshops and all that. That was all. I mean, I remember when Mike Filsaime invited me to come up to his office in New York, and I went up there, and he didn't tell me until we're there, hey man, we're doing a workshop. Welcome to the office, we're doing a workshop, and guess what? You're speaking. I'm like, dude, I've never spoke anywhere. Live public speaking? Come on. He's like, oh, you could do it, it'll be great. I'll be there standing next to you. And I was a nervous wreck. I mean, Mike Filsaime was standing next to me while I was talking to his group about Google AdWords, and I was just shaking on the inside. And now I could stand up and talk in front of people and not even blink an eye. So it was all uncomfortable stuff. Uncomfortable, but I had the drive or desire or something to break through that to do this full time. And I did. So escaping comfort zones and doing those things. I talk to a lot of people that are like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, I'm not good at that. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with that. Well, all those things is, neither was I, right? I was never comfortable talking on video like this. It took practice, to do this a lot of times, to finally say screw it and go ahead and do it, right? Now, other things that really stand out to me is just an aggressiveness to go out there and get the money, to sell, to bring in the cash. There was a lot of times where I touched, I kind of, skirted the issue. I was kind of just all around the just touching on making money and not actually going and getting the money and putting it in my bank account. And that aggressiveness, when that kicked in, to actually go get the cash and be cool with taking the cash, because again, I had problems with money. Money is the root of all evil. Money's this. People are gonna hate you if you make money. All that. The mindset to just go get the cash changed everything, because then everything I did revolved around selling and bringing in the money. Everything I did. If I wrote an article, there was a reason I wrote the articles, was to make money. Is to go get the cash from somebody. If I send out an email to my list, I'll give them some free content. Sure, but I'm gonna make some money from that. And so it became it was okay for me to go make money. It was okay for me to be successful, wealthy, and even rich. When that finally came in that it's good, not evil, then I aggressively went and got the money. And that's where my little slogan, just sell baby, came from, is just sell baby. I would talk to coaching clients all the time, and I'm like, you wrote that article, but that article has nothing to do with you actually making money. The article should persuade people to give you money, right? Everything that you do should. But a lot of people are into significance and fame and getting other people to like them, and they do all these things. People will do podcasts and radio shows and become authors of books and all that because they want significance, which is fine. And brand is a big part of conversions. It's one of the highest forms of conversions. But for them, their intention is the vanity. Their intention is the fame. Their intention is the getting people to like them. Their intention is not to make the money. So that was one of the big things that was a big breakthrough for me, is to shift my intention from whatever else to actually getting the cash. So that's a big difference. What other breakthroughs really jumped out at me? I'll tell you another big breakthrough that I learned is there are customers at every price point. I could sell something for $7, and there's a whole bunch of customers at the $7 mark. And then I could sell something for $7,000, and there's customers at the $7,000 mark. And I could sell something for $72,000, which I have done, and there's customers at the $72,000 level too. And I hear there's customers at the $200,000, even the $1 million level. I haven't reached that point yet. I will soon. But that is a very big breakthrough to understand. Is just because you're marketing to the $7 people doesn't mean there's not $7,000 people out there, because there are plenty. And that is the case in any worthy niche market. So that was a big breakthrough for me as well. Anyway, there's the history of Eric Louviere. If I could leave you with one last final thought, it would be this. If you want more, you've got to become more. And I'm a classic case of someone who wanted more and became more. The Eric you're looking at right now, the Eric Louviere you're listening to, watching on this video, is not the same Eric Louviere that existed 5, 6, 7 years ago, 8 years, 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago. If you really date back, there was a point where I didn't even have any money. I was dead broke. I was staying at my mom's house when she had passed away. I didn't have any cash. I was using coins to go buy like 99-cent burgers. So if I could come from the other side of the tracks and reinvent myself, transform myself, so can you. So I'll leave you with that. Jim Rome. If you want more, you've got to become more. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you got some really good, valuable nuggets out of it. Now go make some money.